The wind howled like a banshee. Rain lashed against Evon's face, icy and relentless. She stood at the edge of the cliff, the very ground vibrating with the storm's fury. Below, the sea raged, mirroring the turmoil in her soul. Doubt gnawed at her. Fear threatened to consume her. Evon had known darkness for so long, it had become a chilling familiarity. Loss had painted her world in shades of grey. Grief had stolen her laughter. And now, standing at this precipice, she felt utterly alone. The storm seemed endless, mirroring the chaos within Evon. Was there even a point to fighting anymore? Could she ever find her way back from this abyss of despair? Closing her eyes, Evon retreated to a cherished memory. Warmth, laughter. The sweet aroma of her mother's baking filled their cozy kitchen. Sunlight streamed through the window panes, painting dancing patterns on the worn wooden floor.
His eyes crinkled with amusement, teaching her to play the guitar. The melody, though simple, resonated with joy. It was a melody of love, of family, of a happiness that then seemed as eternal as the sun.
But the warmth of the memory began to fade, the edges blurring like a watercolor left in the rain. The laughter died, replaced by a chilling silence. The image in her mind flickered, replaced by another, stark and terrifying. Flames engulfed their home, the orange glow reflecting in her tear-filled eyes. The letter crinkled in her hand, the ink smeared by the relentless rain and her own tears. Each word was a dagger to her heart, a confirmation of her loss. She had received it days ago, but the words still felt fresh, sharp, a constant reminder of her shattered world. Evon walked through the desolate streets, her footsteps echoing in the silence. The rain had washed the town clean, leaving a chilling emptiness in its wake. The once familiar houses stood like hollow shells, windows dark and lifeless. "Evon, why?" she whispered, her voice lost in the wind and the rain. "Why take everything from me?" Her words held the raw anguish of a broken heart, a plea for understanding in the face of unimaginable loss. But the only answer was the relentless drumming of the rain. A faint, golden light flickered in the distance, a beacon against the grey despair of the storm. Drawn by an unseen force, Evon trudged toward it, her feet heavy, her heart even heavier. The light led her to a small, old church, its stone walls weathered by time and hardship. Stepping inside, she was enveloped by an unexpected warmth. The air was heavy with the scent of incense, a comforting aroma that spoke of peace and solace. Stained glass windows, though battered by the storm outside, cast vibrant hues across the worn wooden pews. At the altar, a single candle flickered, its flame a fragile but persistent testament to hope. Evon sank into the nearest pew, the weight of her grief pressing down on her. And for the first time since the fire, she wept, tears of pain and loneliness mingling with the rain that clung to her cheeks. As her sobs subsided, Evon reached into her pocket, her fingers closing around the worn leather of her grandfather's lantern. It had been his dying gift, a symbol of hope to guide her through life's darkest storms. But until this moment, she hadn't had the strength to even look at it. She placed the lantern on the pew beside her and smoothed out the crumpled letter. Her eyes fell upon a line she hadn't noticed before, a verse from the Bible her mother used to quote. "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning." The words resonated within her, a spark of warmth in the chilling darkness. With trembling hands, Evon lit the lantern, the flame flickering to life, casting dancing shadows on the church walls. In that small, flickering light, she saw not just her reflection but a glimmer of hope, a flicker of resilience she didn't know she possessed. The storm had passed. The sun, though hidden behind the clouds, hinted at the promise of dawn. Evon stood once more at the edge of the cliff, the wind whipping strands of hair around her face. But this time she didn't feel the urge to step forward into the abyss. She held the lantern aloft, its flame burning steady and bright against the grey sky. The fear that had threatened to consume her was gone, replaced by a quiet determination. She had stared into the face of despair and emerged, not unscathed, but unbroken. The memory of her family, once a source of crippling grief, now fueled her spirit. They would want her to be strong, to rebuild, to honor their memory by embracing life with the same joy they had shown her. As Evon watched, the clouds parted, revealing a sliver of golden light on the horizon. The first rays of dawn touched the churning sea, painting the water with streaks of pink and orange. The world held its breath, poised between darkness and light. And then, the sun broke free from the horizon, bathing the world in its warm embrace. The sky exploded in a riot of colors, a breathtaking tapestry woven with threads of gold, crimson, and violet. It was a new day, a fresh start, a symbol of hope reborn. Evon closed her eyes, basking in the warmth of the sun on her face. The storm had passed, both within and without. And in its wake, she found not devastation, but the strength to rebuild, to honor the past by embracing the future. The weeks that followed were a blur of activity. The storm, though devastating, had also awakened a spirit of unity and resilience in the hearts of the villagers. Together, they cleared the debris, their shared loss forging a bond stronger than any storm. Hammer blows rang out as homes were rebuilt, the sounds a symphony of hope. Children's laughter echoed through the streets, a melody of life renewed. And in the evenings, gathered around bonfires, they shared stories, memories, and the unwavering belief that together they would overcome. Evon, her lantern always by her side, found purpose in helping others. She organized supplies, offered words of comfort, and shared her story, her journey from despair to hope, inspiring others to find their own strength. Years later, the village thrived. New homes stood where the storm had once raged, stronger, more vibrant than before. The memory of the tragedy remained, a scar on the landscape of their hearts, but it no longer defined them. Evon, now a young woman, stood once more on the cliff, the familiar weight of the lantern in her hand. The storm was a distant memory, but the lessons it held remained etched in her soul. She had learned that even in the darkest of times, hope, like a single flame, could guide the way. As she gazed at the endless horizon, she knew that life, like the sea, would always have its storms. But she also knew that within her, nurtured by faith, resilience, and the love of her community, burned a light that no storm could extinguish. And that light, she vowed, would continue to shine brightly, guiding not only her path, but also illuminating the way for others. Story by Itohan Omarui.